trying to get up. We're playing Cole. This is the game right here. Get up! I don't understand. I don't understand why you paid all these tickets if you don't want to win the game. I will not sit for 2 outs in the American League Championship
Good luck.
Series. Get up! All right, we are back on Yankees Pod. We have a very, very special guest today, co-editor-in-chief at Barstool Sports, the pulse of the Yankees at Barstool Sports, Eric Hubbs. Hubbs, thanks for coming on, man.
What's going on? Happy to be here.
Yeah. Got to start a little solemn. We got to talk about John Sterling passes away on Monday. 34 years doing the Yankees, over 5,000 games. Just an absolute legend. And I actually saw that you were able to interview him. So what was that moment like for you, and what did he mean to you?
Yeah, John was a legend. I've said this a few times, but and I think a lot of people will echo it. Like, he was a big part of a lot of childhoods, including mine. Like, going to and from baseball games, long trips in the car with the family. If they happened to fall on the Yankee game, we had John tell us what's going on with the Yankees, John and Susan. So, it was his voice and the homers, the nicknames, the big moments, the championships, the failures, the honest mistakes he'd make. It was all part of the beautiful charm. And I've missed him since he's retired, of course. I'm happy that at least they made a run to the World Series in his final year where he came back. But and I got the privilege of interviewing him twice. We went down to spring training. The first time being Tommy Smokes just had his number back from the Fordham days. And we were a few interviews had fallen through, and we were like, let's just call him. What's the worst that can happen? And we gave him a call. He picked up right away, and he really didn't know what we were asking about. And he was like, yeah, sure, come on by. We'll have a talk. And it was so awesome. We didn't really know what we were getting into. We were sitting in the hotel lobby. All of a sudden, he appears in a towel from the pool. He greets us. He goes, "Oh, I'll be right back." And his, obviously his vintage voice. And he came back and he sat down, and we could have probably talked for 10 hours. He was so happy to just talk baseball, talk Yankees, anything. And he was a joy. The stories, they could go on and on. Yes, we did that twice, and he couldn't. It was, they say like never meet your heroes, but that was a good instance where it was a good time to meet him. He was an absolute joy, and he was so good that we ended up using a clip of his for the outro of our podcast for a while to end the show. And he actually gave us every now and then I wish I could go back if I were any a pick me up, but because I don't think I could find the episode anymore, but he basically complimented us on the interview. Was like, I didn't know what I was getting into, but that was great. You guys were so good on your stuff. I was like, holy crap, John Sterling is just giving us this great compliment. That's awesome. So he meant a lot to me, no doubt, and was a big part of my Yankee fandom, obviously, growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I think my favorite call was the Burn Baby Burn. I mean, you had an A-bomb from A-Rod. I don't know. What was your favorite one?
I'm a Matsui guy, so I like Thriller from Godzilla, especially in a big moment. So I was a sucker for that. That was my personal favorite. But Burn Baby Burn is great, especially the homer and the ALCS against the Orioles is so good. There were so many clips pouring on the internet of his calls over the years. He was the best, man. He was the best.
Yeah. Speaking of the Orioles, we just swept them. The Yankees have won 15 of 17. It feels like they're moving differently this year. I don't fingers crossed, obviously. It's only May, but it just feels a little different. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall, in a way. And, you look at other cities just burning on fire. Boston, the crosstown Mets, Houston. Everyone's got their problems, and maybe everyone's having nightmare seasons. The Yankees are kind of having the exact opposite. It's beautiful. The players that are excelling, the young guys stepping up, the pitching that's held together, the lack of injuries for the most part. Stanton's on his usual IL stint there. Come back in August or whenever. It's not going to take till August, but just be ready to go for the stretch run in the playoffs. Ben Rice has his little hand thing going on, but it's nothing too serious. I hope so. but so like yeah, everything's kind of just people are like, oh, Aaron Judge is struggling. Well, he's got a mid 1000s OPS, so yeah, it'll be okay. So it's weird. It definitely is a weird feeling, especially this run here of winning 15-17, like you said. It's like they've got that old feel to them. It's like even if they go down a few runs, like last night I was in the building and they go down 3-0 to DeGrom, and it's like in years past, you lay down your sword, that's the game, but they fought right back. They were right back in it. So it's very fun. It's a good brand of baseball to watch. Clutch hitting, extending leads late, not letting it up for the bullpen to blow. So there's really no complaints I can have.
Yeah, and especially like I even want to ask you about the Anthony Volpe move. Like it
Yeah.
feels like last year or the year before that, they probably Anthony Volpe would probably be at shortstop right now. Was that surprising to you at all?
At the start of the year, if you told me, "Hey, what do you think's going to happen when he comes off the IL?" I'd absolutely say like, "Yeah, they're going to play him at short." But credit to the organization for finally just like crediting somebody for working their tail off in Jose Caballero and being a great fit for the bottom of this order and being a great defensive shortstop, and that's really a big part of it. And just a really smart baseball player who has great instincts for the most part and is a great base runner and just plays winning baseball. His OPS will never, be something that's going to amaze people, and neither will his hard hit metrics. But he brings value in a lot of other places. And Anthony Volpe, we kind of just know what he is at this point, and it's an inconsistent defender who leaves you wanting more, and he's a hitter who will drive you nuts with his streaky hitting up and down, and it's mostly down. You'll have 2 really good weeks where you're like, he figured it out. Look at this new batting stance. Followed by like 6 weeks of like he just is nowhere close to the ball and is guessing before the pitch is thrown, and it's a mess. So I think I actually saw today that he forgot how many outs there were running the bases
Yeah, I saw that too.
On a Spencer Jones double that he thought there were. He didn't think there were 2 outs, so he wasn't running hard, and he didn't score on a double. So it's like that type of stuff. It's like, dude, you're down in the minors right now, kind of at a low point in your career, at least since you've come up, and you're not locked in still. Like that tells me all I need to know right now. So he's got to prove it. And listen, I think he will be back up at some point. It's just how things work. It's May 6th. Injuries happen, all sorts of things. Baseball's impossible to predict. But he's got to earn his spot up here. And there's another guy going to be playing right next to him all over the field in George Lombard, George Lombard Jr., who's doing what Volpe should be doing, is playing his tail off and giving them every reason to promote him. And if that continues for another month and a half, 2 months, you're going to see George here and not Volpe. So that's just how it goes. And the same thing with Dominguez, right? Grichuk, and that was a really exciting thing. Was Grichuk? We know what Randall Grichuk is at this point, and he doesn't really give you much of a ceiling. But Dominguez does, obviously, hitting from both sides of the plate. The defense obviously is lacking. They're trying not to put him out in the outfield, but his bat has way higher of a ceiling than Grichuk's. And Jason Dominguez worked his butt off in the minor leagues this year to give them a reason to promote him. And guess what? They rewarded him with it. This is all kind of the fan base has been asking for them for years. For years past, they would simply look at how much is a guy getting paid? Well, he's got to play. How much stock do we put into a guy to start? And we don't want to admit our wrong, so he's got to play. Doesn't seem like they're doing that anymore, which is like that's all we want. Just be serious about this team and be aggressive. And that is what they're doing. Same with Louis Hill. They could have easily stuck him in the rotation for another 2 or 3 starts and not called up Elmer Rodriguez Cruz until Rodon came off the IL. Instead, they did. They sent Hill down. They were like, "You're not an MLB pitcher right now, and we're not just going to waste a start every 5th day when we can have ERC get a taste of this right now, and maybe even showcase him if we're going to trade him in July or move him to the bullpen. Let's get it. Hey, here's what it's like. You deserve this because you've been pitching your butt off for the last 3 years here in the minor leagues." So, I just like the rewarding good performances and not just handing things to people.
Yeah, perfect. Makes perfect sense. The one only move that I've disagreed with all season long is when they were benching Ben Rice.
Yeah, of course.
When they benched him 2 days in a row. And listen, I might know the first base coach really well now. I was a high school buddy of mine, so I've been trying to be good on Boone. And I just went crazy when they benched him 2 days in a row, Ben Rice, because I was like, he can hit a lefty, he can hit a righty, he can hit anybody. But other than that, they've been making the right moves. So kudos to them. Kudos to them. Hopefully the June swoon doesn't come, but
Yeah.
we'll hold our breath because I know you're a very realistic fan. You call it how you see it, and I just feel like the shoe's got to drop at some point. We're not going to be sitting with our tans in July. There's just no way. I mean, that's baseball. So let's just get to the next question because I could go on about it.
No. I agree with what you're saying too. And to me, the starting pitching, like in the depth of it and the quality of it, really gives me hope that the June swoon won't, destroy this team. And at least they're winning the games now, so you can maybe falter. It's a baseball season. You're going to go through lulls. They've already went through one. It was really short, thank God. But I have some faith here that June swoon's not going to happen. So
Okay. Love
yeah,
that. Love that. Yeah, and so like Cole's gonna come back, Rodon's gonna come back, Elmer's not gonna be there,
yeah.
and then Ryan Weathers probably will go to the bullpen. What do you think about that?
Yeah, if all holds health wise with everybody, I would think the move would be Elmer went down last night or today. I forget when they officially made the move, but his future for 2026, barring injuries, is a bullpen piece, which is a good one too. Of course, he's got nasty stuff, and then Weathers I think is the move. Curry kind of alluded to it like last week. It's nice to have. I love Tim Hill. He's been super effective, and he will continue to be super effective. But he doesn't have that velocity and the strikeout stuff that Weathers has. So having that type of lefty arm and the pen that can throw 100 with a lot of swing and miss there, that's very effective to have in your bullpen. And I'm not messing with Will Warren right now. Like this is kind of the guy everyone kind of hoped when you see what he brings with his arsenal, and you're kind of seeing just Michael King at this point. So I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to mess with him, and I would not mess with him. So my five
Yeah.
would be obviously Schlittler, Fried, Cole, Rodon, and Warren.
Yeah, and shout out to Paul who asked this. He said, like, if October were today, you're the manager. How do you do put game one, two, and three? If Cole's fully healthy, what would you do? I don't think there's really a wrong answer. It's an
Yeah.
impossible question, but what would you do?
So the thing with Cole is fully healthy. I hope to God he is. We got to temper our expectations with him. Guys coming back from Tommy John, those first few months are scary. Remember, oh wait, what's that say? Oh, okay. Ben Rice will not have to go on the IL. That's what Aaron Boone just said.
Let's go.
I,
Breaking.
I didn't see the word "not," and I got very, very alarmed there because I think he's fine. No, so like Sandy Alcantara came off the IL and looked like a complete shell of himself. Like it takes time coming back from this surgery. It usually takes about 6 months. So as upsetting as that kind of sounds, I don't think anyone should expect Garrett Cole to look like Garrett Cole until the start of the 2027 season, which who knows when that will actually be. But can we get 80% of Cole? I think so. I don't think he's a pretty smart pitcher. He's learning that he's trying to figure this out. They're trying not to rush him back because I think they want to be right with the time they're promoting him. But he's not starting game one. It's Cam Schlittler, 100% is starting game one. And
Okay.
depending how Cole looks, assume you're hosting that series. Whether you want to go Cole at home or Cole on the road, that will depend where you throw Fried. I think right now the plan would be Schlittler, Fried, Cole, and then either Rodon or Warren for that fourth spot. However that goes the rest of the year. But for me, Cam's getting the ball game one, and it's really not even a question.
Yeah, I asked a few people. I got three different answers. So like, it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem. But you're absolutely right about Garrett Cole. Like, if we can get 4 innings out of him in October, like, yeah,
Yes, so that's I meant to bring this up when you asked for the rotation. Weathers is 100% going to be piggybacking Cole to start when he comes back here because Cole is only going to go about 4 to 5 innings for like about a month or so here because one, he's not going to be built up. It's going to be a slow process. It's going to be very delicate with him because he's not young. He's not old, but he's 34, so they got to be careful. Or yeah, I think he's 34. So they got to be careful with him. So I think Weathers will be like a 2 to 3 inning guy following Cole when his day is coming up here,
That absolutely makes perfect sense.
and that could easily continue into October as well, or be until Cole looks the part.
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of like what the Red Sox had in 2018. But like when you have so many starters that you like, you just take them out of the bullpen. Like they have an arsenal. It's great, and like even Luis Heel, people want him traded. It's like let's just see what we got. The only real issue we have right now is third base. Like Ryan McMahon. I mean, he's doing all right. Like,
He
his
has
last
picked
10
it up.
games.
He's picked it up in the last like 10 games. So to at least be a serviceable bat, it's not gonna.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna be the third baseman in the second half and into October. I think that's gonna be Lombard. But assuming he continues on this trajectory. But McMahon, for now, sure, I'm okay with it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
When you're
you're right though. If you poke holes anywhere, it'd probably be the bullpen and it would be McMahon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The talk of the town last night coming into today was Brent Hedrick, 19 appearances, 1.47 ERA, stranded all 13 runners he's inherited. Just talk about him for a minute and what he's meant to this bullpen, who really doesn't have a lot of star power.
Right, and we mentioned Tim Hill and Ryan Weathers, and Hedrick is obviously really kind of proven himself here to be very trustworthy when he comes in the games. You just mentioned all those stats, and he just looks the part. He kind of he's a big fella too. I mean, this is he big stature, 6'6" guy, but how can you complain with Brent Hendrick right now? It's if they needed guys to step up. When you at least to start the season with how dreadful the bullpen looked, and it's like, how do we bridge the game to Bednar? And Cruz can have his off days. You're gonna have other guys. Hedrick's right up the top of my totem pole of trust tree and all that. So he's been a pleasant surprise, and he ain't going anywhere.
That's what I was going to ask you. The next question, trust tree. Give me your trust tree. Obviously Bednar, Bird, Blackburn, Cruz, Doval, Hedrick. I mean, Doval gives me nightmares. Hedrick, Hill, and Yarborough. I mean, you could just give me your top five. You don't have to really go into it.
Yeah. So Bednar obviously won. I'd still go. I'd go Tim Hill too. Tim Hill he wasn't great last night, but there's really no doubt they ever really, questioned Tim Hill. Then probably Cruz, Hedrick is a 3A, 3B type of deal right now. And after that, it gets pretty dicey because I'm with you on Doval. Like, he can throw you 7 straight 100-mile-an-hour cutters, and you're like, well, what the hell is that? And then he throws you a hanging slider, and all of a sudden he gives up a run. It seems like kind of what he does all the time. So, yeah, Doval would probably be in the 4 spot, and then after that, it's, soft. You got 2 long men in Blackburn and Yarbrough. Yuri De Los Santos just got called today. Jake Burr, I'll never
Yeah.
trust.
No.
I do want I want to see what Giovanni Cruz has to offer when he gets the call. He's looked the part in the minor leagues and is definitely worthy of promotion sooner rather than later. So the bullpen is incomplete at the moment, and it will be filled out with guys like ERC or Legrand or Weathers, getting or Cruz getting into the mix and really fortifying it. Right now, it's thankfully the offense is putting away teams that we really haven't had to worry too much about late inning games.
Yeah, I asked Java last week about Carlos Legrand, or however. How do you pronounce it? Legrand?
That's it. No, you got Legrand. Yeah.
Legrand, yeah. I was asking Java about it because I'm like, Java, like the rotation looks great. We might need another bullpen arm. Like, how would you? Because he was the perfect person to ask. How would you do it? And he said to me, like, you can bring him up and make him a bullpen arm, but as long as he knows his specific role for 2027 and talks to his agent about 2027,
Yeah.
like, because we could use, guy throws 102. Having him in like a pinch in the postseason might be something crazy, crazy good. And obviously, you don't want to start the season, with a guy who's going to be a starter eventually going out of the bullpen. But like, I think it might be a decent move to have him like in September, just like, all right, we're going to dial it back a little bit. You're going to throw 20 times as hard as you possibly can. because like just because the bullpen is our Achilles heel this season. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
Yeah,
I
no, I
just
think
like the idea.
that's definitely going to be the move unless he's traded for a bigger piece. And they may wait to call him up to not like maybe ruin the shine, so to speak, on him if he comes up and he's walking some guys and he doesn't look the part in the bullpen and his trade value goes down. I'm not saying they're going to trade him, but they may wait just in case something comes across their desk. But yeah, that's a guy who's destined for the bullpen for this year. Afterwards, I have no clue. And Jabba obviously knows how you can get messed around there a little bit, being a starter reliever, starter reliever. So you got to be careful there. But his stuff plays so good out of imagine him coming in the seventh inning of a playoff game and he's got his control under him. Like that's an absolute nightmare. And they've been really good at developing these arms over the years. Cam Schlitter, ERC, and him. And the guy we're not even talking about is Clark Schmidt's going to be a guy in the second half. He'll be probably in the back end of that bullpen or something, or a 1 or 2 inning guy, a bulk guy or something. I don't know, but there's a lot of depth here, and there's a lot of depth coming. There's more depth coming from the minor leagues, and it really just I don't know. There's been prior years where we were throwing Marcus Stroman and Carlos Carrasco starts, and it's just not the case right now. They've it's just a perfect storm of depth and quality that they have, and it's very refreshing.
Yeah, embarrassment of riches. And
Yeah.
I mean, you've been answering every question before I got to it, but do we know like the timetable for Schmidt at all?
The only thing I kind of know is second half, right? So August and
Okay.
on. Yeah, and
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
but
A couple
I
more
think
questions.
yeah. Go.
Sorry, couple more questions and I'll get you out of here. I didn't mean to cut you off on the Clark Schmidt stuff.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, so what do you think about the ABS system so far?
I like it a lot. Judge has got to learn how to challenge more because that was kind of the hope is when that became a thing. It's like, well, now Aaron Judge is going to become even better of a hitter. He's a little gun shy on the challenges, and Jazz obviously is very bad at them. He did win one I think last week or whatever, but Caballero's been pretty good. Ben Rice has no idea what he's doing. I think Trent's been solid. I like it in general. I was pushing for it. I was tired of umpires just ruining the game. I think it helps keep them in check and hopefully make them better in the future so we don't need to use as many challenges. But I have really no problem with it. It's pretty fast. It doesn't slow down the game whatsoever. So yeah, there's no complaints from me. I think it makes the game better.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm a big Barstool fan. Like I consume a lot of the content. And somebody asked me to ask this question: which current Yankee would thrive the most in Barstool content?
I mean, Jazz is by far the best personality. So
Mhm.
I think that's an easy one. In terms Judge, I love him to death. Not exactly the most charismatic guy in the world. So at least from the offensive side, Ascara has been funny from when I've seen him. So I feel like Ascara would be pretty solid. Pitching wise, everyone's pretty much to their own. I feel like on the rotation, in the starting rotation, I think the answer easily is Jazz.
Yeah, yeah. No, I that's a perfect answer.
Yeah.
And what is it like in October when you're in that gambling cave and there's 30,000 people watching you and like you're probably not even focused on that. You're focused on the game, but it's got to feel different, right? It's got to feel different.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's not exactly something I want to be doing. I'd much rather just be probably watching on my couch or at the game. But that is if that's the tough part of this job, I could be having a lot worse time in another job. So you kind of it's part of the gig. And at this point, you don't even know you're live anymore because we've been doing it so many times. It doesn't bother you at any point. You just want to finally win a World Series doing it. So, but I'm in there with Tommy and Marty and the rest of the guys, and we have a good time about it. We'll get a drink after or something, and it's you just got to know you can't make any trips in October. Obviously, you gotta tell the wife, all right, September or November. Not October. October we got to keep the whole month clean.
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as you don't have Meek Phil badgering you too much in that thing, because he's the talk of the town right now. He really
Oh
is the
yeah.
talk of the town.
Oh yes, he is. Well, can't wait to see him tomorrow. Can't wait to see him in the office.
All right, we'll end it there. Hubs, really appreciate you taking the time. Just a nice chat because the Yankees are doing so well.
I
So
know.
really, again, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I've been losing a lot less hair lately, so that's nice. No, Jimmy, thank you so much. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you.